business owner, if I had to start my business from zero, I would have focused on building out my client experience with HoneyBook. HoneyBook is a client flow management platform for anyone working with clients. Think about how you're managing your clients right now. Email 20 times a day, invoices here, contracts there, 20 tabs open up in your browser. But imagine a system that manages your projects and clients for you, automate tasks, and manage contracts all within a single platform. You can probably agree that replying to emails takes up the most of your time, which is where features like HoneyBook AI and the AI Composer comes in handy. When moving your business to HoneyBook, you're enabling yourself to have better client relationships and the freedom to focus on the parts of your business that bring you the most joy, or even take breaks when you need them the most without having to miss a beat. Start your free trial at honeybook.com to run your business and not have your business run you.
Oh, why aren't they texting me back? Are they mad at me? Do they not like me anymore? I'm scared to ask for reassurance and fear that I'm gonna look too needy. What? Am I scared of abandonment? Yes, I am. I haven't been able to stop replaying these breakup scenes in my head. You didn't plan your wedding a day after you met your partner? Yeah, me either. That'd be crazy. If I tell you my feelings, I need to get a response ASAP. As a matter of fact, we won't be going to bed until we figure this out. You let your partner go to a party while knowing that other girls are gonna be there? That's a setup for cheating. They just like this person's post. What does it mean? Are they interested in them? If that sounds anything like you, those are known as activating strategies, which are designed to keep us safe. So how can we deal with this? Therapy, like BetterHelp, can be a great place to heal and develop a healthier attachment style. Online therapy allows you to connect with a licensed therapist virtually from the comfort of your home. The platform is designed to help you find a therapist that can fit your needs. So if you're looking for someone who specializes in relationships, sign up for BetterHelp today.
Hello, hello. I hope you could hear something. We're about to begin. Welcome to today's stream. I'm Professor Bodhi, aka Mr. Bonny John. Thank you so much for joining me today. I just realized I have not at all looked at myself if I'm presentable or not, but I'm ready to go. Did I hear BetterHelp or am I going insane? Who's to say? BetterHelp? Is that the sponsor of today's video? Hello, Alex. Hello, Spore. Hello, Shard. And hello, Draco. What is going on, you guys? So, you might be wondering, Bon, where the heck is the screen? It's right here. Bam. So, I have made even more adjustments, chat, to my Xotempo decks. I have finally gotten, I'm so excited because all day today I've been trying to whittle down again. I forgot, if someone wants to remind me, I forgot how the conversation got to that place, but I was like trying to figure out how many Xotempo I wanted to create for my decks. And originally, and I've asked questions about this on the community pages and whatnot. And, some people have said quality over quantity. Other people said quantity over quality. And hello, Rick. And yeah, the more I thought about it, I was aiming for around 150, which, is a lot, right? Any way you slice it, say the original Red and Blue was made by multiple artists and designers, right? And not that I'm saying I'm equivalent to an entire design team, but I know for a fact that I could do 150 for this region or this first game. But again, I'm not in a position to act like I'm even owed or deserved a game, right? So I decided I need to figure out the number that I think is a good balance, where I can hit quantity and quality and make sure that there's a kind of theme. So yeah, you guys are kind of looking and maybe seeing the changes. So allow me to start explaining a lot of the changes that I have in mind. So, and please bear with me. Of course, everything from the beginning is always, hello, Sketch. a work in progress and trying to figure things out. So my big goal is to finish up the 2 stages lines, right? Which I'm almost done with that batch. Um, so actually, Red and Blue Games Pokemon were not designed by Sugimori. I didn't say they were solely designed by Sugimori. I was saying specifically they're designed by multiple people, which is to say that here I'm designing everything by myself. So that said, when I was looking about all about the creatures and the number of designs I need to put out and finding a number that was fitting to me, it was all about what is the theme of this region, right? Or this game. And a lot of people wanted me to originally make my own Pokemon region. And they would say, Bon, you know, any region is cool. What are you into? And I thought, well, we don't have an India region. I wanted to do that. And that's kind of how Xotempo and everything came to be born. So that's why a lot of this is very obviously Southeast Asian inspired. And I just kept finding more and more. And I also wanted to insert, you know, things that make me who I am as an artist and a creative and pay homage to many other cultures. And so it's this nice balance of different kind of regions and elements, modern day mythologies, right? The King Kongs of the world, Godzilla, you know, Cthulhu. There's more Dungeons and Dragons stuff that are going to be added now because that in itself is its own mythos that I have a strong connection to. And then also I tamed down the split evolutions because I realized, for one, I don't even know what the chaos and order things are. But the most important thing is by splitting down the level of splits, the more lines that could be in this game or concept. So as a result, and of course balancing too, those changes are right on screen. Some people are noticing them sooner. So for starters, there's going to be a little more 2-stage lines, and I also made sure to have them outpace the 3 because in Generation 1, you had a lot of single-stage designs, right? So that means that there's a balance of 1, 2, and 3. I am giving you guys way more designs that are equally interesting without rehashing concepts, right? And that's not a dig at Pokemon Red and Blue. You know, we have people who don't like designs like, say, I've said this before, right? Dugtrio, Magneton, Muck and Grimer don't really feel like they evolve too much. Where I can make homages to these creatures, I want to see how I can do my twist on it, but also do more. So pound for pound, of the designs that you have here, this is an extremely diverse roster that I'm super proud of. So I'll quickly go in and kind of go over much of the remaining kind of things that I want to do. So the first section is mostly D&D. So you have the gelatinous cube set. I'm going to do a mimic set and have that evolve into this kind of dragon mimic type of thing. It'll be a soft dragon. Nothing really crazy there. Because, you know, as a 2-stage, the 2 stages will always kind of like bounce between being middling to strong, but the 3 stages will generally be stronger, right? Just like in Pokemon. An owlbear. The Popobawa from African culture will evolve into the Beholder. It's this one-eyed bat that I can make into this one-eyed. If it's not the Popobawa, it can just be something. So over here, you continue. And I realized I got to really hone in on a lot of Southeast Asian concepts, right? Karkadon, Matsaya, Makara. This guy isn't so much, but it's kind of like this Objectmon type of thing that I decided to keep. From African mythology, there's basket hyena, were hyena, or a krakota, which is from Southeast Asian culture, which is this like hyena, dingo, kind of tiger, kind of crazy kind of thing. Yeah, it's kind of in a way, right? Where I'm removing Jack Frost, and I'm going to make it the Yeti. as the second stage. And I'm going to have to find a way to make it work. But the Yeti lives in the Himalayas, which is in Southeast Asia, you know, by India and whatnot. So I'm like, it would be kind of weird if I saved it for another region. So on this side, we're going to have, well, it's not Kefri anymore, actually. Basically, Charizard's inspiration creature will go right down here. Here we have the Blastoise one, the Venusaur one. These are from Indian mythology, the Pisasha, which is this kind of like general ghost type of thing. And then this one is called the Preta, which means it's like the hungering spirit. And it's basically these like, they have these massive stomachs and they're really creepy. And it's my chance to make kind of like a ghost type, like Gengar, you know? We have some cryptids, as we know. This one will be based off the Manangana, which will be a very cute with a eerie kind of background in it. The Slide Rock Bolter is going to be this American cryptid that'll be like a land whale, essentially. And then these guys feel like very prehistoric kind of creatures that fit like tropes from like movies. So you have aliens, Dune, and then Jurassic Park. So I like how that fits together there. Here. So formally, the 3 stages will start with these batches here, right? So here we have, of course, the Aklut. I've whittled down the middle form of this guy to either be the Iloko, I believe from African culture, or the Gilly Doo, which I think is from like either Welsh, Irish, or Celtic. We have Cordyceps. We have the Kelpie line over here. Mermaid upgrade. So another thing I realized, I was like, well, I want the Gorgon, right? Or like Medusa to be in a future game. And I realized something. The Naga is this entity from Indian culture, which is a half snake person at the top and then a snake body at the bottom. So I decided I'm going to evolve Sesha Naga into a pure Naga. And it would be really cool because one of the first mermaids ever realized in culture, believe it or not, people, you know, associate it with like medieval or like pirates or this or that. But I think Assyrian is one of the first cultures. But turns out Matsaya, which is this like goddess incarnation, she was like half human, half like fish, like a mermaid. So I was like, oh, interesting. So I can have a half fish lady and a half snake lady and have that be the Naga. So they'll be counterparts to each other. To get some more cultural stuff from other, you know, legacy kind of things. With horns, I'll have to see. There's a lot of depictions and I'll be able to do a lot of cool things for sure. So I'm going to do either the phoenix or the kirin from Chinese culture for that one line. I'm leaning more towards, I want to say phoenix, because I'm not going to do like a traditional you know, like a firebird. It'll be more like a bird that can control flames. It won't like be on fire like Moltres. It'll be more like Talonflame. Otherwise, the Kirin would be a really cool kind of like deer, horse, dragon kind of thing. But I don't want to, you know, I'd rather have a visual range of designs, as you guys know, right? Here you have an orca, a tree, a mushroom, a horse, a mermaid, a snake, then let's say a bird, a sphinx. Now that Chimera's out, which by the way, I'm not going to say, Chimera and other characters I may have cut may be coming back in some capacity. I won't say. So, this now that the Chimera, which was like a lion-like beast, the Sphinx can shine now because I'm going to turn that into the premier big cat kind of entity. And I'm going to look at the Aklut as the big dog version. And then finally, we have this little adorable guy. I'm going to make it just a single dragon line. That way, the dragon feels like he can stand against a phoenix, a sphinx, all these other mythicals, right? Even though they're not mythicals, you know what I mean, right? So, And I promise I'm going to get to... Oh, you know what? Let me quickly answer these questions. So Nintendo Zombie writes, "Hi, Professor." Hello, Nintendo Zombie. "I don't want to be that guy who talks about Charizard, gets too much attention, but why Charizard?" Because I need to be fair, and I used to be the guy who hated on Charizard. And I still kind of get annoyed that he gets a lot of love, but I understand it as a creator and a designer. So I already have a Blastoise inspired and a Venusaur inspired. So it would only be right for me to give Charizard his due love because I gave the others their own inspirations, right? It's not that I'm making one-to-one or like a true homage. It's just as a building block so I can say, thank you, Pokemon, for helping me get to where I'm. Spore writes exactly. We have Sword and Bulbasaur up. Goalie Mega writes, "Hey, Bonnie." Hello, Goalie Mega. What do you do when you want to draw but you don't have the inspiration? Sorry if my question is rude. It's not rude at all, and I think that is an important question. I think what it is, Goalie, is that you just can't force it. If you don't have inspiration, but you still want to draw, right? Never force it like, I want to design this really cool dinosaur, but I can't, think of any other kind of dinosaur, and you still want to draw. You can always doodle and sketch, right? It doesn't have to be dinosaurs, or maybe you could doodle a bunch of dinosaurs and then all of a sudden you get an idea in between your doodles, right? In between these random ideas you're putting on. You could sketch something completely different, right? If you're creative in other fields, maybe you can create music about dinosaurs if you like music, right? Or if you want to do something like, if you like doing clay work or sculpture, all of a sudden you're manipulating your hands. And all of a sudden, you're in another medium, but being creative. The last bit of advice I'll give before I jump back into this stuff is it's always good to practice, right? So just because you're not creatively inclined at the moment, right? You're like struggling, that's what creative block is, right? You can always work on fundamentals. Maybe you can practice shading, right? Maybe you can practice your watercolors if you like working with physical medium. Another thing you can never get tired of is still lives, and I would say environment work, references. Take a look at draw looking at your hand, right? Take a look at how it works, and that kind of stuff goes really long. So Phoenix is probably best. Interesting fact, the Phoenix is originally a flamingo. Oh my god, if that's true, I would love to make my Phoenix a flamingo. Honestly, that would be really cool. Actually, I was thinking about doing the golden pheasant from Chinese culture, which is a very beautiful bird. Alex writes, "Goalie, you could try drawing fan art of a show you love." Also a great idea. Why not any other generations of starter Pokemon like Meowscarf, Wickwacko, Quaxley? Great question. Simple question gets a simple answer. I love many of the starters. And Gen 1 as a whole, isn't my favorite, right? I could find like another set of starters that I think are like the perfect set for me. But I grew up with that generation. If I never played Pokemon Red and Blue, I would never be making Xotempo. Maybe that's not true. But I would likely have played some sort of Pokemon game. Say I started playing, I started this last generation, right? And then I wanted to make a Xotempo or whatever monster tamer. Maybe I would do those three because I'd be connected to them. But it seems that in a world where my basis for my inspiration for my creatures are mythology and, the concept of cryptids and whatnot, I'd say those starters are as iconic as any other monsters out there. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much, Kofi. Exactly right. Make sure you do that. And exactly another thing, Alex, pretty straightforward, right? The most iconic and representative of Pokemon. Okay, we've gone through these guys. We've gone through my three. And now you're wondering, what the hell are you doing, man? What's going on with these guys? So as I said before, my Dust Bunny creature, which I got to redesign, this will be your, your fairy guide, right? They're essentially your assistant / sidekick, like a very Rotom Dex kind of thing. Their design and concept might change. But I think it's so cute. A dust bunny is not a cryptid, it's not a mythological entity, but it's that little thing that everyone knows about. It's not a bunny, it's kind of mostly dust and debris. And I think that's the perfect way for me to make the entry point of the Xotempo world be this very cute dust bunny that rolls along in the wind wherever destiny takes it. And it happens so that you find this dust bunny. And like lore wise, I've talked about how not everyone has the spiritual power to see Xotempo, and that a dust bunny feels like a fun creation or creature that almost everyone can see. And maybe some people see the rolling dust, and maybe the chosen few see, wait, what was that? So I really like that as your kind of sidekick slash. It's not a party member. It's a Xotempo that's like stamped as Xotempo like 000 or something. You know what I mean? Finally, this section right here, originally, chat, I was going to scrap all of these guys and do something even crazier, but I figured people would not like it. And originally what I was going to do, and honestly, I could see myself maybe, well, for sure I'm going to alter these middle designs because they need to feel more akin to one another. But essentially, so originally I was just going to do this. One starter that you get, it evolves into a singular kind of creature, but this singular creature would be slightly curved in its design that would kind of hint at what it was going to become. Like you're on a track, essentially. So the notion is, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to give, I know I said against this before, but I think I have a way I can kind of do this. I'm going to make these guys the starters, essentially, of Xotempo. And it's a decision that, you know, I may or may not change, right? As I like figure things out. But I think it is very important, and I'll mark this down. There is going to be for sure a feeling in the beginning where you need your hand to be held, right? So let's say whatever the first creature is, it's going to have to be like an amalgamation kind of creature that maybe like visually looks like it could become one of these three. And in a game where there is a story concept of chaos and order, and the attacks will have chaos and order, it's going to probably need something like this to balance out, and again, handhold as far as a story point of view, right? So to me, it looks like this. I would probably say you guys can agree with me or disagree and let me know your cases. I think truly this guy stands for chaos. I think to me, Kong represents order. And I think this guy is the middle ground. And I got to figure out a way for the middle, whatever I call it. And remember, it's not like it's truly King Kong and whatnot, but my takes on it. So I'm not saying Godzilla is the middle in between, but it's still pretty lined up. So when I do finally come around to redesigning these concepts, elements of the previous Honengyo will come in, elements of the previous Skunk Ape and of the previous some Martian snail will come in. But I like this idea where it teaches you about the world, right? There's always like this kind of fatigue in the, not fatigue, but some people get a little stressed out trying to choose their starter where they're like, dang, I don't know if I like this first form. I don't know what it's going to become. I'm scared if I'm not going to like the final form, right? Case in point, no offense to the fans who didn't like, say, Quaxleys or Primarinas, for example. Sometimes people didn't like Incineroar, right? Where they're like, I wanted a tiger on 4 legs. So I like this idea where you basically more or less you get to learn about chaos and order with your starter, and it goes in that direction, and it kind of teaches you, right? Fair case given their role, agreed more or less. Also in here last time, are the Pokemon Neo designs fully benched to be made into? I would say that only some of them might be moved over, and use as inspiration. Like today, I'll be looking at a really crazy throwback from a Dex Neo thing. Sounds perfect. Good. So that's why I removed the baby forms for each of these guys. And this is what's going to happen in every new game. If I ever get to make sequels, your starter player will be given a starter Xotempo, right? He'll look something cute like this, maybe a cute little totem guy, right? And then however he looks. Okay, this is just a silly design, but I like the idea that it's malleable based on your personality. That makes a ton of sense. However, I'm going to do a thing where I would love to do like a hard mode. If you choose hard mode or like advanced mode, you could have a more like new age approach where your starter is going to be one of the random 3-stage lines. So I think that'd be really cool. And just give you a chance to like mix things up, right? Exactly right. I also think it's good for the starter mod to be connected to the gimmick. Exactly. It's more or less the way to, teach the player not just early, but throughout the game. Because as we know, story-wise, the Chaos and Order gods, who you cannot capture, none of these 3 you can capture. By the way, I am looking for another word for chaos, because chaos automatically makes people think it's evil, and they're not evil. So I like that this story is linked, to the gods themselves, right? The gimmick. But I'm also limiting it, and this goes to the final part of my Dex revision. As you can see, there are only 8 splits. And before you say something like, Bond, that's too little, I don't think so. No worries, goalie. No worries. I hope you get to do practice and enjoy. As you can see, there are 4 for the 2-stage lines, right? So there's 2. And then there is 4 for the 3-stage line, where I have now upgraded this little fellow. So I think I made this one based on Carbuncle. This one will now be like based off the biblical golem. And then get this, chat. Tell me how cool this is. And I gotta like make sure I line it up on this side as well. How cool is this? So the legends of my region: fire, water, air, earth. Look at this, chat. Look how this worked out. Air, water, fire, and earth. Now, before you say something like, oh, there's fire and ice here, isn't ice water? It's more like they're elements of the world, like glaciers and volcanoes. But I really like that the creatures that are split down the line are like almost like emissaries of the elements, and that's why they've been kind of blessed by the gods, the Chaos and Order gods, right? And having learned Blazing Nova writes, maybe Havoc. Bedlam is also. Havoc sounds, I think, as I don't want to say negative, but essentially as negative as Chaos, and Bedlam I'm not familiar with, but technically it's Magma, aka Molten Earth, exactly. But isn't that so cool that I got to link? There's like a reason for the lore, and the reason why I pulled back, at first I was like, oh, should I make more splits? But then I realized there's less creatures to catch, right? So by limiting it, because technically, splits in Pokemon came later and later. right? Like Eevee was the first split, and then down the line they could add more, right? For like even later designs like Hydrapple is a split, right? As it were already, right? And then like even in Gen 2, they added new splits, right? So for example, Gloom was able to evolve into Vileplume or Blossom. So I like that in my first entry, you have a solid set of 8. And I'm going to do something really cool too, chat. Without, giving away too much, but like at the same time, this is all subject to change. These creatures, there's 8. They're all going to be aces or my takes of the gym leaders. So that way you kind of get to meet like the people who are strong enough to tame Xotempo like that. But yeah, there's a lot of creatures for you guys to tame and befriend. I'm very proud of the way I've curated this list, right? It's not a haphazard list, right, that I threw until stuff randomly stuck. Sometimes you do that, but it's very much curated. So I'm going to go ahead and count it out with you so you guys can see the final total. I already know this. And then I won't say what's going on with this 4 right here. That will be a surprise. I've teased enough things many times over that I'm hoping you guys forgot and stuff. But I won't ever confirm nor deny. But yeah, let's quickly count these out. Just so we can get the final number and you guys can say, oh, Xotempo's going to have this many monsters? Nice, Bon. All right, so 2, 4. Well, let's do it this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's 20. So 40 in this batch. So that's already 22 stage lines. That's a lot. Then you got 3, 6, 9, 12. So 52. There are 52 Xotempo in the like 2-stage families, right? With the bottom half being the splits. So let me mark it right here. So 50 freaking 2. That's a lot. Next up, 3-stage solo lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 27. All right. So that means 9 3-stage lines. I think in like Kanto, there was only like 12 3-stage lines anyway. Also, I'm giving you guys no single stages except your little fairy guy. So you really get to collect more creatures and watch them grow than was seen in Generation 1. So 4, 8, 12, 16. All right. So we have 52, 27, 16. You guys get to battle and tame the legendaries. So that's 4 here. This is another 8. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Another 8. So 16. So let's ask Siri to do the math. What is 52 plus 27 plus 16 plus 16? 111. A curated number that I felt like it's a special number to me. I won't go too much into it, but it is such a solid number that just feels right. You know, Pokemon, I don't want to do 150 or 151. That's Pokemon. 100 seems like a little too low, even though it's technically not. It's a lot. 1 So, I guess yet another way I can kind of make this feel like my own. Xotempo, I can officially announce, will have 111 creatures for you to capture. I'm very, very happy with that. So, yeah, there you go. It's officially announced 111 for the decks. That includes, you know, the 4 that you can capture. Or not capture, but summon as far as legendary. But yeah, so I spent a lot of time whittling this. More or less, I think it really feels like the finite collection of creatures I want to create. So throughout the next few weeks, I'm going to finish the 2 stages, and we're going to get started now on Charizard, or the Charizard inspired. But yeah, like, it's going to be really cool, because if I went all the way to like 151, which is again very Pokemon sounding, as it is, I'd feel like I'd still be in the shadow of Pokemon, right? We're like, oh, Bonnie, you were trying to make Xotempo before, which sounds like Pokemon, with 151, and there are elements that I, can't really escape from the genre. Like starter creatures, that's just a thing that's always gonna happen. But yeah, that's a tall order. Ironically, yeah. I was looking because order is just 2 syllables, but it's pretty quick and easy to say. But ultimately, yeah, I really wanted to just find something that doesn't sound as hectic, because people think, like, understandably, if they're like, oh, the world was thrown into chaos, we're gonna think like, oh, that's a bad thing. But in reality, it's lifestyle choice, right? Some people live to routine, and other people like to live, as life comes at them. That doesn't make any person better or worse. A person who lives a routine will be like, oh my god, how do you live day to day? I need things planned out. And get anxious when the world is thrown at them. Meanwhile, the other person would feel too restricted and limited if they're like, I gotta plan everything out. No, I like to go with the flow. Maybe it's flow. Order and flow. Go with the flow. Order and flow. Oh my god, I think I just got it. The god of flow and the god of order. That makes sense. Order would contain movement, and flow would be restricted by it. I think it's flow. What do you guys think? Flow. The god of flow. The god of order. I would love to find another word where it's like not, like if it could just be another 4-letter word. I like that kind of movement. Order, flow. But order is perfect, like it's pretty damn close to perfect. It's not necessary, but a list of choices for the mythic salamander, for the Potempo, for the Xotempo, for the Xotempo gods. Would there be a third guy along with the duo? Contain is too long. Contain is too long. Third guy with the duo of order and chaos. I may have mentioned something in the past. I won't go too far into it. But yeah. Maybe I'll give a little hint. I'm gonna give a little hint. It's a big hint. You didn't think this set of legendaries was the only legendary. I'm just gonna leave that, and I won't answer any other question about it. Freedom, way too long. Like I said, flow is so simple. Flow has a nice flow. It's short, easy to say. Especially when you're teaching a lot of people new terminology in your game, you want them to be able to absorb it quickly. So order and flow already work very well. If I can get something like flow and like, not stop, but you know what I mean? Like something like contained, right? Or like routine, but like a short word would be nice. Flow and slow. No, just because it rhymes, but slow doesn't encapsulate all the way. Order and motion. No, I like flow. Motion's too long too. Order, flow, chaos. So it's not, no. So flow would be replacing chaos. Amphibian choices. Diplocaulus, Kulas. Ooh, that's a lot of stuff. Is that a Flareon redesign? Good eye. From a long time ago for Dex Neo, I was originally going to do these insane kind of things for the evolutions. And I said a long time ago, I said I would be bringing back this guy in some capacity. So I see this guy as the first stage for my Charizard inspired Xotempo. So I'll get started. I'm just gonna do the same kind of stuff. I think this one is very simple. It's going to be a newt. It doesn't need to be anything crazy because just like every first stage, it's just a baby. You know, it doesn't need anything more than a head, a body plan. What I will do is I like the lizard kind of sack kind of thing, although it is a little close to you know, Venusaur Xotempo inspired like bubble sacks. So maybe I'll like kind of tone it down a little bit. But yeah, it's going to just be a cute lizard. Nothing more than that. I think it'll be a very easy design. And I could even give, like, lizards have these kind of spot kind of thingies on the side of their face. I could totally just give it that. Now, I would like to showcase that it's going to evolve into kind of like a rocky, or not rocky, but a fiery kind of thing, like the salamander, right? This mythical salamander. So, I think what I'll do is I'll just make the body coloration kind of look cracked and scaly, right? Like a lizard. And so that way it kind of looks like magma, right? Or like molten lava. I think that's pretty cool. Maybe flowing curbs, Lizion. Hello, Thunder. Thunder, calm, halt, and lull. No, we're moving away from... I appreciate it, but I think we're moving away from the main two. It's order and chaos originally. Now it will be... because chaos is not the right word. People will look at order as good, and people will look at chaos for good and bad. But as I explained, chaos is not bad. That's why I think flow is a better way to describe chaos. It's letting life move, right? Whereas order, you live by routine. A routine you restrict. Suggested that the flamingo's bright plumage actually inspired the legend of the mythic. Really? Phenicopter. Wow, that's pretty damn cool. I do need kind of a middle word that's also short and sweet, that resembles kind of like a mixture of the two. So if you guys have, you know, something for that, that's fine. Again, so order doesn't need a rename. You know, like if I can find a word that's like order, but in 4 letters so that there's a nice, well, flow between the two sides, that'd be awesome. Flamingo. That's why they have flame in their name. Is that true, or you're just making that up? All right, so high key, I kind of want to make my mythic. Can someone check if the axolotl is considered a salamander? You know what? I guess so. I'll pull up some lizard references because I'm basically drawing from my old, you know. But yeah, this first guy is gonna be very cute. You know, nothing that needs to be super in depth. I really want to make the evolved form the axolotl because I think just it would look interesting. But yes, there's a lot of choices here from Draco's. Danube crested newt. It is a type. Let's go. So there you go. I think, and then I could do something with like fire like at the tips of the axolotl, or even like flames shooting out in the shape of the axolotl, you know? Oh, you know what? In fact, the Tianan crocodile salamander, right? Maybe that's what I make as the basis. Because look at this thing. I don't want to like one-to-one use it. Last shot, rule and flow. Rule, see, the funny thing is, rule, I like it, but excited, hell yeah. Rule has a negative connotation, right? In the same way that like you would think, wait, Bon, how does that make sense? How is that true? But for example, a slave is ruled over, a king rules over. While they do it in, exact order, in the same way that chaos potentially dictates like a darker side, like they want to plunge the world in chaos. An evil king would want to plunge the world into their order. So to me, when I hear rule, I can get that negative connotation. So that's the really cool part of like design isn't just in the art, right? The lines and the colors and the this and the that. Oh, this guy's cute already. I really want to use the bumps that this guy has. Oh yeah, so this guy, and let's give his throat sack like a little more movement here. All right, this guy's pretty cool. Oh, but you know what? The leg doesn't. Okay, so yeah, that's why we use reference. So the leg kind of comes down like this. Maybe I'll make it like chameleon legs, so it's like a little more visually interesting. Not legs, but like the digits, right? It's a little basic, but no more basic than any of the other 2 stages, right? Like these guys are meant to fill out the world as a whole. Oh, so you know what I can do, chat? I can make the skin look scaly and those look like lava bubbles on its back, like molten magma bubbles. The axolotl Abystoma mexicanum is a type of salamander that doesn't go through metamorphosis. Calm or lull are the inverse of motion in relation to hence me saying they would fit for order. Yeah, but I definitely see your mentality, which is good. You're thinking on a deeper level. But it needs to be a more encompassing term, right? That quickly tell. I think when people see order and flow, they know, And when I like picture like attacks coming in an order or a flow state, that sounds like more effective than calm attack or lull attack, rather than saying flow attack or order defense or something, Salamanders are amphibians that, like frogs or newts, start off living in the water. Salamanders usually, instead of this guy living in water, maybe these spirits are found by like magma and lava, like volcanoes, and that's their water. Salamanders start as axolotl and then grow into their normal self. Look how they look like a baby. They die pretty quickly after. Okay, final shot. Charge and flow. Nah, that sounds too gamey now, Maximus. Maximus! Got another one? Stay and flow? Nah, stay describes a command. Order sounds exactly what it is, right? To keep things in order, Axolotls also have insane... I've heard about this. He's too long for first stage? Who said? By what rules? Order, flow, and go. I don't like go because, again, go just like stay is a command. These are states of being, right? Being in a sense of order, knowing that your routine grounds you. Being in a state of flow, knowing that you move with the tide, roll with the punches. So the middling thing would need to be another word for like balance is the word I'm looking for, if that helps you guys. Okay. Let's go ahead. This guy's already feeling pretty good. Maybe hold. Yet another command, right? Charge. Go. Or not go. Was it stay? hold. Like if your Xotempo were to, especially like for the starter Xotempo, if they were to have that middle form and say it evolved into a hold form, that sounds like more like a movement and ability, right? More than a state of being. I feel like it could be argued that flow could be the middle. I know you don't want to use chaos anymore. I like that, Kofi. I agree. I could also see flow being in the middle, but I think again I've already made my case pretty well. Order and flow are two sides of the coin. Order means attention. We stand still. We have an order. You go when you're told. Flow means movement, the opposite, right? So, axolotls are different species of salamander that stay baby. Wait, so now, how long do they live for? Because that sounds really sad. And also, in order to make it feel like a first stage, cute mode activated, big head. Gotta be a big head. I'll also bring the... Hold on. There we go. And I'll also minimize the tail, because it's a baby. In fact, I kind of like the fledgling tail that the previous guy had. That's cute. Because you want to make it feel compact, right? Chunky little salamander baby. Actually, you know what? That's cute. And then I'll look up the other salamanders. Ooh. So it could be like cracked like this, but so it'll look like this, like a scaly kind of texture, but it'll look like molten earth. And then the bubbles on its back, just like this guy has, will look like molten lava bubbles. Pretty fun, right? We're cooking high heat today, chat. That's the animal kingdom for you. Yeah. So how long do axolotls live? Because like I would love to own one day, but there are some really shady practices that breeders go through. If they also pass away after a short time, I'd be pretty sad. I like this kind of lizard or frog lips I've seen in anime. Also because these are wooden masks, so getting them to appear kind of stylized will be really nice. What is this thing called that lizards have? These little eye thingies. I mean, if I should give him like some sort of like lava bubble on his head. Probably not. Flow in mind? Doesn't fit. Order and flow. Because at the end of the day, gamey or not, it should still teach the viewer what is at hand, right? Where it's a case of, oh, I just realized what the color's gotta be. Because the other guys feel vaguely kind of their representation. But yellow! Somebody lived to 20. Wow. Axolotls don't metamorphose in the wild, only in some house conditions or labs. Gosh, you. Um, all right, what do you, yeah, this guy already looks pretty fun. Um, I'll do, my only worry is I've really made it pretty much identical to this guy right here. So, you know, that will likely change because it's not super inspired. Maybe I just have like the big lava bubble around his neck. You know? Subtympanic shield? What is that? Oh, the cheek things. Well, you tell me. It sounds like you know. What is exactly is that? He is too long? Who said? I think you mentioned that before. If you're gonna, guys, if you're gonna give me critique, I want to hear. I think he's too long, or explain why you think he's too long, and why you might think it's a bad thing. You baby. Hope the salamander stage gets both Ixalan Gills fins. Look epic. Alright, I'm gonna keep sketching here. Yeah, I like this like tiki kind of vibe, which is, you know, what all the starters kind of have. Not starters, the first forms. He's definitely very cute. So I'll paint on his face. Because he's a first stage, his portrait feels like 1 and 2 stage. Well, let me hear what chat thinks, because I don't necessarily agree with that at all. And also, you're probably thinking it to Pokemon, which this is not, right? This is Xotempo. So I have my own kind of standards to it. And not to mention, diversity in designs is a very beautiful and necessary thing. I think it looks cute. Take, don't raise pitch for it. Axolotls are my least favorite salamander. That's fine. You're allowed to like whatever you like. Ooh. I didn't realize how... Oh, interesting. What's up, Dingus? Welcome back from vacay. Welcome, welcome. Why? Interesting. Yeah, let me take a look at some other lizards, because I am worried that it feels a little too... So what I'll do is I'll just do like a magma bubble kind of ring around his neck. Because there are, you know, lizards with those kind of bubbly kind of necks. Actually, it doesn't need to be any more, you know, than this. Truly. So you walking all around New York. And how long were you there for? What did we end up seeing? I'll be heading to New York in August, the end of August. Oh yeah, this guy's cool. Got a very earthy feel, especially with the wood, with the rock. Let's go ahead and I'll make... Look, I feel like this guy would have red paint on his helmet. And you know what? I'm going to go with some yellow as well. And then I'm going to do... I think I really got down the style. Instead of lava bumps, how about lava steam tubes from the frill neck onto the back of the tail, looking sweet no matter what? Lava tubes? Oh, I see. Yeah, I think that's pretty much what I was planning on doing, because I have these cracks and whatnot. Now, it would probably make sense to do some sort of pattern, you know? Maybe to resemble like scales. So it could be something like this. You know? Also, I'm looking at the proportions, and I don't think at all he's too low. Respectfully. If anything, maybe I could make the head even bigger, just to make it feel... That feels like a little too imbalanced. How'd this guy fight? Just like every other Xotempo. Maybe breathe fire, magical attacks, a headbutt, a tail whip, even though he's got a small little nub. Nice. Alright, it's pretty cute. So then he's got and then from here it could just be kind of like cracks, you know? So it looks like stone. General tourism? Gotcha. Let me move this guy into... Because I'm curious. Really big guys. This guy's pretty long. They're probably cousins. Although I think the alligator guy would probably be just a little bigger. And also, you know what? Variety is the spice of life, too. I reckon also, because it's part of a two-stage line, it's probably going to be bigger in relation to its second form, say, compared to a third stage, where there would need to be more of a balance. Okay. Charizard time already. So if we do, and you know, I likely will finish, you know, the design for Charizard sooner than later, I assume. We'll work on some other stuff that needs finishing up in Xotempo. Maybe the middle form between the Mandrake and the Treant, for example. But yeah, over here you can see a design I did for a video, except it looks a little different, if you might recall, right? In this case, this is like an orange version of Genzaidon, right? This was a creature I created for the most strongest legendary paradox video, where Genzaidon is like the middle stage in between Miraidon and Koraidon. Lore-wise, I made it that this is a unique form of Cyclizar. Like, whereas the other Cyclizars, right, one was like from the far past and one was in the far future. this one is one that kind of, it's not like the situation where, oh, this is what Cyclizar evolves into, right? This is more like in Area Zero, because of the terrestrialization phenomenon and with this time traveling shenanigans, this specific Cyclizar evolved. And I'd like to think that, you know what, maybe like same thing happened, like maybe like, you know, Koraidon is like the ancestor to, obviously that one's a little easier, to like the Cyclizar that Heath had, but that maybe even Miraidon is like the put back together version of Heath Cyclizar. So anyway, I looked at this guy and I liked its body plan a lot, and I liked its vibe, and I, again, just like Dex Neo and stuff, I was like, where can I find where exactly is like the line of bringing over design and making it new? So, because the body plan and whatnot is very similar to Koraidon, so it can't be super similar, but it's definitely worth exploring. And that's why I brought this here for, you know, reference. Just like this guy kind of helped me create, as simple as possible, a guide. This one will also be, you know, Salamander. I'll go ahead and get started now. Over here. Okay, so actually, before I do that, I guess I'll leave this guy on the screen, and I'm going to do some quick research and read to you guys about the mythical salamander. So Charizard as a whole, right? People love to hate him. People love to love him. Understandable. So as far as Charizard, right? If I looked at Venusaur for inspiration for frogs and toads, and then turtles for my Bixby inspired Xotempo. According to Bulbapedia, in the trivia section, we more or less see that Charizard may be based on European dragons, which are heavily associated with the element of fire in European folklore. The draconic appearance would be later reflected in fire dragon typing of Mega Charizard X. Like its pre-evolved form, it may also take inspiration from lizards, dinosaurs, and the mythical salamander. Its English and Japanese nomenclature may be a reference to how Western dragons are heavily inspired by lizard and other reptiles. So, Burnute is cute. The salamander is an amphibian of the order Urdella, classical, medieval, and Renaissance lore. Ready? This legendary creature embodies the fantastic qualities that ancient and medieval commentators ascribed to the natural salamander. Many of these qualities are rooted in verifiable traits of the natural creature, but often exaggerated. A large body of legend, mythology, and symbolism has developed around this creature over the centuries. Carl Linnaeus, in the 10th edition of Systema Naturae of 1758, established a scientific description of the salamander and noted the chief characteristics described by the ancients reported ability to live in fire and oily exudates. So, you know, lore-wise, here is, you know, like, again, a 16th century kind of depiction, obviously taking some liberties here of a salamander, you know. There's a lot of cool imagery from that time period. But more or less, there's a lot of these images of like salamanders basically living through fire, right? It's often depicted as a lizard-like animal with star-like markings. So maybe we could do stars on mine. Of all the traits, the ones relating to fire have stood out most prominently. This connection probably originates from a behavior common to many species of salamander, hibernating in an under-rotting log. When wood was brought indoors and put on the fire, the creatures mysteriously appeared from the flames. Italian artist Benvenuto Cellini famously recalled witnessing such an appearance as a child in his autobiography. According to some writers, the milky substance that a salamander exudes when frightened, which makes its skin moist, gave rise to the idea the salamander could withstand any heat and even put out fires. So, you know, it's more or less this kind of like wives' tale, like tall tale type of thing. So it's not like there's really a lot that I can use or reference. Here's like a kind of carving that maybe I can do. And I think I'll definitely, you know, lean a little more into the quadruped side. So that way, you know, it's not exactly like Charizard. But we shall see. Let's go ahead and start designing now that we got that out of the way. You guys are as excited as I am for this Charizard inspired Xotempo. I will move this guy over just so we can keep him in the frame. Let's go. I'll move this guy's head into frame so you guys can see him. Yeah. Yeah. Ignite. Oh, that's cute. Axolotl, cute. Diplocalus head with Fiery Star motif. Alright, let's get started. Let me go through the salamanders that I got over here. Oh yeah, that's the straight up Dragapult vibe. Yeah, that's very cool. Kulisakis? Bro, this guy is really funny. Look at Kulisakis. There he goes. He's out. He's out of the running. Crescengius. Or Crescengirus. Oh, he's goofy. He's goofy. Look at him, dude. Look at him. He's gone. Get out of here. Olm. His name is just Olm. Oh, he's kind of cute. Here's Olm. Wow, so they kind of got like an Eastern dragon kind of vibe. Which could be cool to have like a very long salamander. So that might remain. Common mud puppy. Huh. The common mud puppy. Oh, he's cute. He's got kind of like axolotl stuff going on. Look. You see that? So, alright, he might be a point of reference. Greater Siren. Nope, that doesn't look like anything. I really like this Emperor Newt, which is the guy we saw basically with the dots. Danube Crested. Wait. Chat. Hold on. So Tianan Crocodile. What? Chat, you gotta see this guy. Whoa. Yo, look at this guy. I'm gonna get it for you right now. Hold on. This guy is crazy. So this is called... This is who I want to do. This is the Danube Crested Newt. He's got like these kind of plates in the back and this big tail. I don't know if I'll do the plates because that feels Godzilla-like. But the tail is very impressive to me too. So let's go ahead and... Well, let me just draw and see what fits, what feels right. Before I outright say anything. The Ulm... He could be a very long lizard. Right? This guy is just very phallic looking, so I'm taking him off the screen. So we got the Ulm, we got this guy. I'm gonna get a better picture Oh yeah, here we go. The Danube Crested. And it does evolve like that nubby nail or nubby tail. Excuse me. And then this guy, I would love to use him, but it's just too similar to Dragapult. Obviously, Dragapult, was inspired by this guy. There's no rules that I couldn't, but that shape is so awesome. But it just feels like I don't want people to be like, oh, you just made a Charizard based off Dragapult. So let's just draw. It's the first thing you gotta do. So I'm gonna go ahead and I guess let's see. Do I want to try and make him stand up? Potentially. Potentially. The Danube Crest? Danube Crest is pretty cool. It could just kind of like go back down like this a little bit. And I love its tail. I want to use... It could be... I wonder how the star... Yeah, I don't know if I can make the star motif work, but... Again, I also like the axolotl kind of frills. So we'll see if I can get that. And then I'll do... I don't know if I want it to stand up. Because that is very Charizard-like, obviously. Magmamander or Magmander? No, way too close to, I think, Charmander and all that. You know what? I hope people don't come at me for my Venusaur, Squirtle, Venusaur, Blastoise, and Charizard inspired stuff in the future. Like, he couldn't make his own designs, he had to copy. It's like, no, it's inspired by them. Magmandra, Lavamander, Salamander with just the E missing. Not that it's true fire. But, the kind of sail kind of thing. Which I think looks already really damn cool. That looks pretty damn cool to me. You know what? Let's simplify this. The axolotl thing. Spitballing, what if it had 6 limbs, sort of like a centaur? A little nod to the regeneration. I don't dislike that, but I feel like it would make it a little too alien-like. Because the axolotls already feels very, like, otherworldly in a way. But I think beyond that, I think why that wouldn't track for me personally is because regeneration would mean the limbs it lost came back. So it growing new limbs wouldn't be so much regeneration, but just that's how this creature would look, right? At its default. Salagma, that's a very fun one. Maybe lava spouting out of its body somewhere? Could be. Although, I think I'd rather it be in control of its powers. You know, it can probably like spit flame. I gotta look up how the whiskers or whatever you call it for the Yo, this guy looks cool. Does he look like a salamander? I mean, I guess it's okay if... Oh, you know what? It's the legs. Let's make the legs... It would need to be, yeah, like that. Charizard inspired. Charizard's a salamander, kinda, sorta. Mine's a literal salamander. But again, moreover, it's still, you know, paying nod to mythologies of which my entire quote-unquote region, right, but game concept as a whole subscribes to. The back is made of fire. I would say it's not so much that it's made of fire, but like they resemble fire, just like over here on this creature. Yeah, I gotta look up the way the frills look like. You can kind of see it on this guy over here, those little tufts. I don't know exactly. Do they maybe filter things into the gills or like make sure dust or speckles, you know, don't come in? Maybe. I'll go ahead and start try to color and figure out. Now, again, part of me wants to like straight up go the orange. I'm worried that's going to be like really Charizard, Charmander family territory. It could remain like black and gray, which is like, you know, a shiny Charizard thing. But again, it's not like Charizard owns like even the shiny. I could make it like gray. It would visually kind of evolve where it's like crackly skin with that like magma line running down, and then it's like now the frills are kind of lit up in a way and make it look like it's on fire. Because, you know, with Xotempo, a lot of the creatures, I don't have elemental typings, right? As far as the quote-unquote typings, you know? So, to me, that's actually very freeing. If I did have a water type, a fire type, a this type, what would end up happening, chat, is everyone would be like, you know, if I made a buffalo made of fire, they're going to assume it's a fakeum. And yes, for the most part, people will come in and be like, oh, what people have said on what region is this, or what fakeum, what is this typing? And I'm like, no, it's not that, right? So one way or another, but truly, because there isn't an elemental typing system that like denotes how these creatures operate, it allows me to focus on the creature's design. So I wouldn't be opposed to making it like gills that are on fire. I would not be opposed to that at all. But I think in the spirit of the designs that I've been doing, it makes sense to make them look like the same kind of gills that I'm using from the real world experience. Maybe if anything, I can just have the fire shooting out of the gills, you know, of the axolotl. And that's probably the most that you'll get as far as a fire typing built in. But, you know, again, it's because it's like a nod to Charizard. Right? In the same way that my Venusaur's got like kind of like poison stuff going on. I guess if anything, my Blastoise is the least connected. You know? This would feel the most Pokemon-like if I do keep it this way. Podata. Podata is the scientific name? Oh, interesting. I like the movement in that name, but the data part sounds very cold to me. Slugma is made of the stuff I wouldn't say it's not in control of the lava. True. True. It's not semi-control, right? It's not leaking completely, but yeah, you're right. the order and flow names are about beat for order, like the phrase follow the beat. Oh, that's interesting. They fit the tempo part. But again, I think standing on its own, if it was like its beat form, it wouldn't register as anything immediately recognizable, right? If you said to someone, "Oh, it's its beat form," people, you'd be like, "Huh?" But if you're like, "Oh, this is the order evolution or the flow evolution," it would have a little more like a grounding element, right? You can kind of understand it. Salcano, there's no flow in that name. Funny enough, it's talking about flow, right? What if it's orange but has spots like broken parts of magma? Could be. Never say never. I guess right now, I don't want to extend this guy. You know what? Some of these salamanders are pretty long. You know? We were talking about length as far as design before. Yeah, you know what? That might be more fun, honestly. To give it more of a kind of shape. And then, how would I do? Because, yeah, gray isn't the most exciting color, right? It could be yellow. I would not be opposed to a yellow. Saloon! Salamander and long? Nah, that just sounds funny to me. Like, I couldn't take him seriously. Even though he is a long boy. Alright, let's do this. Okay, let's raise the back a little bit. Lung as in Eastern? But the inspiration isn't Eastern. Inspiration is, if anything, opposite. It's very Western, medieval. Yeah, you know what? I really don't like the gray. The gray, it feels... It feels just too... What's the word? It's dull. Like, it's not bringing the design to life. You know? How do I do the star thing? Almond magma. There's some flow there. Be right back, no worries. Yeah, maybe I try yellow. Amphibiseer. Amphibian and seer. You just combine the words together. There's no flow there. Like amphib-burn would be like like the B from amphibian plus burn. Right? But amphiseer is, or amphibiseer is just two words, stuck together. Alright, now how do I... Okay, so this feels... I like the overall shape. This gray is not it, chat. Stars appear on the side. Probably. It's going to look a little forced, so if it doesn't look good, I'm not going to keep it. Because the star is a very intentional symbol. Right? It's not like mythical salamanders truly had that symbol on their bodies. That's just how the depictions were, right? Oh, you know what? Maybe I can do a thing where... Okay, let's try... Ooh, you know what? I don't dislike the yellow. It's a little jarring right now. Let's see what happens. Oh, it could have like maybe some sort of like banding patterns on it. Oh, wait, so what if it's star motif? What if it was like that? So it's like very subtle. You guys see the star shape like right there? That way, it's not like so in your face obvious that it's a star. Ooh, that's kind of interesting. Oh, so then you know what? If that's the case... It might have to be a thing where... That would definitely feel like Charmander, so it really can't be orange. Like, it's crazy. Maybe it's like orange like that. I don't dislike that. That's kind of interesting. That's like geckos and lizards have this kind of patterning. Now, the axolotl part, I'll kind of like get that back if I can. Otherwise, could I really get... If I did do this shape, do you think people would be like, that's just straight up Dragapult? Backward grilled chicken? Hell yeah. Nah, you know what? I like the axolotl approach. Let's see. I like the star kind of elements here. White pinkish limb. To say it's... Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that would make like a really good shiny, I think. But I'm not against to at least try it out. Because a lot of axolotl are pink. And like, I think like white hot pink, like kind of like Godzilla in the latest movie. Would be a nice nod too. Amphibious. Ignis, amphibious, insidious, or amphibian. If Diplo Kalu's horn is source like flamethrower? Maybe its tail is a toucan sort of deal where that's crazy you said that. Because the way I had like drawn it out, it looked like it was like a charge meter. Right? Like a hot scale. I swear to God, I was thinking that. I may have colored it like that as well. You know what? So maybe I remove... Maybe, yeah, I just straight up remove that. And go like... Or it could just even look like... Well, now it just looks like candy corn. I guess so. It could be black, orange, like that. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, like that. And it looks like a charge meter more than anything. And that way I can just kind of... So it doesn't get too frilly and too crazy. So looking at... Let me flip my reference. Here's this guy's head. Okay, let's see. Ooh, so first of all, I'm just realizing also is... Okay, let's get his shape to be a little more slender as it reaches the back end. Alright, he looks like a badass. By the way, you changed domain to class, right? I think I missed that part of the stream. Anything? Not really. You know, like the thing is, whether it's class or not, like I definitely don't want to use domain. I got... In just my stream alone, I got so many domain expansions. Understandable, I would do it too. I love the word, but it is no longer like a free word, right? Like it's very Jujutsu Kaisen coded now. So I don't want to use it because it's going to be it's going to be something that escapes what it's meant to do in my world, which is denote a classification, right? Especially because there's no oh my god, this program is kicking my ass right now. So Spikander, Spicy Cinder, and Salamander. I guess it doesn't have to be... You know what I've realized? When you guys pitch me names, right? I don't ever truly commit to the name part. Like, I guess because I'm like... You guys are like doing one side of design, I'm doing the other. So that's why it's kind of fun to read you guys' suggestions. And I don't really think about the name. I wonder. Well, that's because you know what? In my head, I'm like, any of these concepts are free to potentially change, you know, at any given notice. I mean, something like this, probably. Right? This is a certified banger, though. I think there's like a lot of logistic things I've got to like design. But it's cool how the concept I designed so long ago, the Flareon redesign, like is kind of here as a little bit of a basis. You know? All that time ago, I came up with, you know, that design. And I mean, but you know, it's like a generic lizard before, but now it's got like trying to incorporate the stars thing and cool stuff happening. I don't think I can do the axolotl part. Like the... Could I? think it's just too busy if I were to add it. So maybe, you know what? Just to give this more interest, I will add the second flame for the tail. Which is cool because, you know, there was a flame on Charizard's thing. But it's not a actual flame. It's just, it's crust that looks like, you know. I gotta say, I think this is a really dope design, chat. Hope you guys agree. Can't really see a lizard's mouth too much, but I guess I'll give him a little bit of a mouth right there. And let's give him orange and then black. So he's got kind of a, obviously as a fire type, right, so to speak, and a little bit of a temperament. What do you guys think? First pass. Hath thou stretcheth? Danny, I haven't. Thank you so much. You came in at a perfect time. It's almost been an hour and change since I've been drawing. No stretch. Let's see. By the way, so because I was gonna ask if this Xotempo would be a lithic. Well, Maximus, I would say you're right. It's probably runic lithic. It's probably, or maybe it's lithic runic. Maybe it's just got a source false crown. No false crown. It's just a fiery kind of motif. Hello, Danny. Hope you've been well. Maybe it's a Typhlosion sort of deal where it gets mad, the sides of its head sort of flare up. Yeah, I think that's probably it, Kofi. I think that way, just because its head is so close up to its neck and whatnot, that I feel like it would busy, you know. Into the dark abyss I return. My deed is get. You see what you guys are doing. Danny got to come in just to make sure I stretch. Thank you so much. I will stretch right now. What do you guys think? I honestly think these are kind of good to me. I mean, I know exactly how I want to pass or fix the design rather, for the second pass, and that's probably like a larger, more impressive, you know, main, something like that. Actually, you know what? Might as well. I didn't even finish stretching properly. I suspect he'll be popular. Is any like fiery kind of creature is always a hit with people. And either way, you know what? It's like, again, no matter what, Charizard or not, it's based on the mythical salamander. Fire is cool. Lizards and dinosaur kind of things are cool. This is definitely a Xotempo that like a rival might have, right? I look so badass in fire. I would love him. Definitely putting it on my team. Also, I like the peach ring necklace on the first. Peach ring. That's funny. Thanks, Danny. You get so far. My only thing is the lips on the first. I love the lips on the first. It's remember, it's painted on. It's not like true lips. It's like a wooden. These are like wooden paint and stuff. I guess I should make it look like this. In fact, I feel like that gives it personality. You know, if everything looks, you know, it's got to look like carved wooden paint. You know, you'll be seeing a lot of like geometry and stuff. when I eventually come around to, yeah, I think it's good. I lied. I came back. I want to ask to see the tail without the flare in the second. I feel like a silhouette might be ready without it. I want to see the I asked to see the tail without the flare in the second. I suspect you're right, Danny. I'm just basing it on this guy right here, the way this thing comes in. But I did take it off, and then I put it back because I'm not putting. Right, Danny is a talented artist. She came all the way back from her trip. It does look better without it. It does. It doesn't look as muddy. You got to do side strip for the shark, Xeno. Oh, all of those. Yeah, there's so many I have to do. I'll probably do those. I'll do those at a later time. I'll do. What I'm going to do is I'm probably going to buy some sort of. If somebody knows how I can connect my iPad to this PC, and then therefore, a little bit of Crag. That looks dope. Yeah, I think it's already looking a little busy. So I think that's more something with texture more than anything. Because I'd worry it gets too crazy looking. I really love how the stars pattern fits in, dude, like this. This is so fun. Hey, again, that's what they say in the manuscripts. Let me guess. You don't have to guess. It's already there. There's no guessing involved, Cody. I drew exactly what needs to be done. Think like the better plus the back flare and the toes are the jaggedy bits it needs. True. If anything, I could even just add like speckles of color like this. A lot of lizards have like bands and stuff. So this could also look like fire, right? You can see, for example, this guy, he's got the bands there. This guy, he's got that here. So it looks like magma straight up. Oh my God, Wacom tablet. You look, I might randomly move like this and then it'll like go flying. So annoying. I don't know how to turn touch off on this thing. Oh no. What is this? I'm pushing bad buttons on the thing, chat. So I can see if maybe I can turn off touch. Yeah, you know what? It does look stronger like that. I could figure out patterning and stuff later. It's not like... Oh God. What'd I do? Hold on. I can't stand Wacom. How do I fix this? Tool, application, all device, Intuos, eraser, mapping, options. How do I turn off touch? About? I want about. Leopard gecko? Oi, oi, oi. You ever seen a leopard lizard tail? You could draw it if you wanted something extra. True. Don't use Wacom's name. Be kind to it. I've been kind to Wacom for a long time. There's a company. Don't get me started. They're so overpriced. Like, I wanted to get a Cintiq, right? It's like $3,500 for like a really high end, and like their industry standard, but like they haven't really been innovating as much. A lot of their competitors have been really making names for themselves, like Huon and Canvas, or is it Canvas, something like that. I say this as a lifelong Wacom guy. You're getting on my nerve, Wacom. There should be a switch. That's what I figured, but I don't see it. You already given a name, maybe Flamander? Nah, it's too much like Charmander, bro. I don't know if I like this yellow that I chose. Let's go ahead and mess around and just kind of see the colors. Brightness, contrast. Yeah, let me darken it just a little bit. Okay. Now let's adjust the hue. Boy, Yui. Ooh, wait. Oh, hold on. I kind of like that. Hold on. What if I do this gold? No. Wait a second. Hold on. I kind of like that pink instead of the yellow. Or maybe it's that with the pink, and then maybe I make the yellow. No, this just looks like Charizard's head. Yeah, so we definitely can't do the orange in the front. I kind of like it. Hot Cheeto looking there. I'm munch. All right, take care, Danny. Thank you very much. On the Intuos Pro, it's besides the power button, unsure. Let's see. Oh, shit. I think you're right. Goated. Thank you. Let's see. I'm going to be so happy. Wait, so then if you know Rag 3D, if you know about that, how do I fix this cursor thing that's on my screen? This guy right here. That's been there forever. I'm trying to get him off. Try blue. Oh, blue flames. That's true. It could be blue. Let's... Yeah. Oh, but now there isn't as much contrast. Well, no, you know what? That's fine. I'll just bump this up just a tiny bit. Oh, wait. I like this. With the yellow, we do yellow there. Hold on. Actually, that looks better. Yellow with that kind of red. That looks like a lizard. You know, many lizards and reptiles will get brightly colored. Oh, but if I do this, then it becomes like Pikachu if I do the red part right here. I'll just do like a ring there. It could be black with red patterns. The thing was, if it were black, you lose its face entirely. It looks cool, but it looks too dark and evil. That looks fire, pun intended. Hell. Let's try blue. And he's right. Electric blue? Hold on. Electric blue could totally be the play. I mean, it looks electric now. But, like, I also don't hate that. I mean, this could be its shiny. You know, something like that. Oh, you know what? What if... No. Blue and red? Blue, red, yellow? With the salamander, and combustion. But there's no flow in there. Heat, we're throwing heat out there. You know what? Maybe the... A gradation would be cool, but then how do you animate and model that? Well, modeling like a 3D model would be good, but it's losing what it's supposed to be. So yeah, blue is definitely just pie in the sky kind of stuff. What I could do is I could do orange like this in its sail. That way, with like the red at the bottom, there you go. And then I'll do white. Or you know what? I'll just take like an eraser and kind of like make it look like kind of see-through. Yeah, there you go. That's it. And I like this like red here. Blue head, yellow body with orange colors. Hear me out. Yellow arms, orange body around it, red face and body. All right, I'll try. Red face. Red face and body. Well, so I would have to invert it like this. When I see this, I'm getting like Electabuzz vibes. I think I got it. I really like this. It's simple. The fanned out frill makes a lot more sense. I guess I can take the orange here, and it'll definitely be a Cyndaquil kind of situation. His gills will kind of split out flames that look like an axolotl or like a whooper, right? Oh, that looks sick. Dude, that looks sick. I will do a size comparison, just so you guys can kind of it might be hard to tell what I have in mind for the size. But you see how I mean, like, it's Charizard inspired without being Charizard, right? I paid homage. But above all, I made sure that I respected its first source material, which is the mythical salamander, right? So you're starting with the black animal. No, this is a very first sketch. There will probably be, like, all of these are the very first drafts of every one of my designs. I will likely be changing many things about many designs. They're all 111. Since he's so horizontal, he looks like he's small, but just because that's this 1,000 by 1,000 space. On the tee for sure. Hell yeah, wonderfully done. Thank you, thank you. All right, let's go ahead and yeah, it's been a while since I've done sizes, right? All right, what to do next? It's 8:30. There are definitely other Xotempo that I have to catch up on. The exciting thing is, a lot of my designs will be going through a lot of changes. You know, and like the kind of treatment that I give. Yes, no, I've made 3 stages before. A lot. In fact, there's no one stage. There's only one stage, and even then it's because it's you know, your fairy companion. It acts as your guide, like your Dex, your Rotom Dex, essentially. So that seems good for me there. Honestly, it might be exactly this size. That feels really good to me. I don't think it needs to be any bigger. What I will do. Is there a starter? There is. There's 3. But that's like the regular. And then there's like a situation where you can choose to perfect size. Nice. You get to start with like any... Oh, well, it's randomized by personality. Okay, so let's see. Gotta get... Yeah, buddy. Alright, so... A mimic? So yeah, I figure I can make it a mimic into a fully fledged out, like... I don't know if it'll be a dragon mimic, but like, if anybody's got ideas for what I can make a mimic... He looks like he's about to say, it's not a phase, Dad or Mom. Yeah, ideally, I was thinking I could do mimic into Pandora's box. Could be a very cool one. But it's... Would Pandora's box need to be like a legendary level? You know what I mean? Like, if any of you guys got ideas, let me know for mimic and then what it could become. I would mimic it to be like a generic kind of like tree stump. Like, it's trying to be a first stage Xotempo. Because they all hide behind wooden, you know, faces. But it needs to evolve into something. You have a crab. I don't. And that might be a part 2 one. I guess this guy is kind of like... It's definitely not crustacean-like. But, you know. Pandora's box. I don't know. Would that work, though? Would Pandora's box need to be a 3rd level Xotempo? You know? So, I do need to, you know, evolve this Sesha Naga into a Naga / Lamia. I don't think I'll do that for today. I could do that for another day. Oh, you know what? I could do the Yeti Dora backpack. Also, that's a gimme gold chest. I know. It's a placeholder. One of my designs. Let's see. I could do the Yeti. I could work... You know what? Let's do this. This line needs to be finished. I did this guy yesterday. He's very cute. Mimic pouch? A Greek vase. Oh, but see, the thing is, I'm not trying to make it a 3-stage. I do like Greek vase. But since it's not going to be a 3-stage, I would want to do something for a mimic into something else. So it doesn't necessarily have to be Pandora's box. Yeah, if you guys can help me figure that out while I work on either the Iloco or the Gilly Doo, it'll be the middle stage for this family of Treants, essentially. Golden crab that features a rich, loving crab. I have no more room for new concepts, you guys. So I have 111 here. That's going to be your Xotempo decks. So I can't fit in new creatures unless you make such an incredible claim. Like, Bonnie, this fits a very Southeast Asian narrative. You're missing this very special creature or mythology that would fit here. But yeah. Otherwise, yeah, my 111 are pretty much set. I'm very excited about it. I'm not sure, unfortunately. I haven't had that issue before. Most issues can be solved by restarting the driver, resetting. Yeah, I've done that, but Wacom drivers can be picky. Tell me about it. Sometimes ZBrush has an issue with the pressure sensitivity. Yikes, I hate that. But yeah, it's just weirdly, look, it doesn't show up here, but when I go back to that document and I press, oh wait, yeah, it doesn't show up here, but you go here and then look, there it is, this weird little cursor, and it's like making me go crazy. I would say it could evolve from the mimic. What evolves from the mimic? Oh, a crab. Gotcha. That's interesting, actually. Because wait a second. That could be... Where is that from? That story. I see the vision, Kofi, now that you mention it, because a mimic could scuttle around on crab legs, and then it evolves into a proper crab. Is there a space whale? It's the god of all Xotempo. 111 Xotempo, yes sir. I specifically chose 111 because I didn't want to be like Pokemon do 150 or 151. 125 felt weird. 111 is a very doable amount for me as a single creator. And then plus, it saves me so many designs that I could put for my Gen 2 if I ever get lucky to do Gen 2. And it'll have a more stronger theme because I have so many medieval ones that I kind of pushed. So it'll be a more medieval focused one. It'll be really cool. Also a Greek tail. Gotcha. Maybe. I'll keep that in the back pocket. I like that idea. Gold digging ants. Maybe it's like the ants are inside of the coins. Okay. I'll work on these guys. So there's two guys that I really liked, chat, for the middle form of this line. So as you know, the Mandrake is the baby form. The Treant is the second. I might actually make this like either a banyan tree or a bodhi tree. Hell, maybe even a willow could be very fun. Maybe software specific glitch. It feels like it's got to be something with the settings of that document, because I can press brush and I don't see that weird sign there. So, but thank you for the help, Bragg. For the answer, the coins, true. Oh god, imagine it opens its mouth and you see like wriggling ants. Okay, let's see. Let me tell you all about the Iloko. Term in Mongol Kundo language referring to a kind of dwarf-like creature that lives in forests. They are believed to be spirits of ancestors of the people living there. They live in central Zaire, jealously and ferociously guarding their treasure, the game and the rare fruits of the forest. Legends has it they haunt the forest because they have some grudge to settle with the living and are generally quite vicious. The Biloko live in hollow trees. So it's either Iloko or Biloko. And are dressed only in leaves. They have no hair, only grass grows on their bodies. They have piercing eyes, snouts with mouths that can be opened wide enough to admit a human body, alive or dead, and long, sharp claws. They possess little bells, which in Central Africa are believed to be able to cast a spell on passers-by. Possessing an amulet or a fetish. What does that mean, fetish? And offer protection from this type. A fetish is an object believed to have supernatural powers, or in particular, a human-made object. Huh. So, the thing is, these Iloko are a little more darker sounding, and I kind of want them to be softer in comparison to the red caps. As you can see, they're angry little guy there at the bottom. So I'll also check out the Ghillie Dhu again. The Ghillie Dhu is also okay. Scottish folklore. Solitary male fairy. He was kind and reticent, yet sometimes wild in character. He has a gentle devotion to children. Dark-haired and clothed in leaves and moss, he lived in a birch wood within the Gairloch and Loch Druing area of the Northwest Highlands. I think it's this one. Ghillie is an equivalent to the Scottish word Gaile. Edward Dwelly, a Scottish lexicographer, lists Ghillie as a lad, youth, or boy. Yeah, I think it's going to be this guy. So he's basically dressed in leaves and moss, and he lived in a birch wood, which is perfect because this guy will become a tree. So I'm going to make the birch tree bark his skin. I'll have moss and leaves on him. Perfect. Yeah, buddy. Ghillie Dhu. Let's do it. Is this your Last of Us Ultra Beast? Yes, I brought him over to this project. I didn't really change the design too much because it's nearly a perfect design in my opinion. I might give him eyes, but that might look a little weird. Love game on time. The Tales of Ghillie Dhu. So we'll make it like a teenager kind of thing. I see one depiction where he's got like this cape. I kind of want to give him a mossy cape. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let me zoom out for you guys. This is also a Fakemon that I did for Zelda. I might change up this design just a little bit. Not a whole lot, but I worry that he looks a little too old, you know? But he does look very cute and endearing, and I do like that for this design. Because he's supposed to be the opposite of the guy below him. And he looked like he's in a ghillie suit. Pretty much. That's pretty much the vibes that I'm going for. You know what? I guess his legs need to be just a little longer. Also, it could be his really massive beard makes him look long, you know? This is a very funny yet simple design. If it is going to be like kind of like a willow, it could be nice to extend the silhouette out, you know? But anyway, that's something I can figure out. So it'll be the Ghillie Doo from Scottish folklore. It just needs to be like like the equivalent of this guy, but on the bottom, nicer. I actually would love to see Gold Digging and Xotempo turning into the Goldorado Gold Dragon mimic. Is it intentional that the middle stage of the mushroom line looks like it has a sleeping hat? Yeah, so this mythology is specifically called the red cap. So the red cap, you know, refers to the cap of a mushroom. It's not so much that it's a sleeping cap, but it kind of looks like it. But it's just a cute kind of design that also elongates that stem kind of thing, visually connects it a little bit. Okay, so let's see. If he's gonna be a tree guy, the Ghillie Doo. So I'll give him, yeah, a ghillie suit essentially. It'll be like a cape, really. So maybe it'll have vibes of Ogerpon, which is like a green kind of cape. I think it's more like a yukata kind of thing, but I guess, you know, maybe he'll be just a little more. You know what? He may not even need arms. I think his ghillie suit covers his arms, and it kind of, again, looks like a tree almost. And like he can kind of maybe move the branches out a little bit. Not branches, but like the leaves, you know? Oh, so you know what? Let's do this. I'll have him look just like the tree, the knot of a tree, like that whole space. Kind of like Tangela vibes, but it's kind of like the first form of the vase too. We had a red cap, of course. It's fitting, right, for a mushroom line. So there are a lot of mushroom kind of like entities. So let me zoom in. So I'm gonna specifically make him more like a birch tree. I wish you have like a lighter kind of pattern there. So oh, I see what's wrong. Maybe on the top of it, it's got a tree sprout. Could be. But I do want him to feel like a tree, right? It's like tricky, right? Like, how do you make him a tree? Oh, you know what? I've seen a depiction with like antlers. Why don't I make it like tree branches? Or they're sprouting a fruit? Could be. So if I make it look like antlers, it'll also look like tree leaves. And I'll do something like this, like it's like the branches extending out to eventually be the tree that he's going to be. Xotempo, yeah, right? Honestly, I would really love to record voices for the Xotempo. Like the baby ones and stuff, the teenagers. Because it's all like, I really do picture it like Legend of Zelda voices. So it's like, oh, now that's like Animal Crossing. So if the first stage is wearing a wooden pot mask, does that technically mean it's wearing the dead flesh of its evolutions? Technically, no. Because these are spirits. So these are all like, the masks are a metaphysical representation of the creatures hiding their true forms, right? Because they're from another realm. They crossed over to ours. I should look up ghillie suits. So in this case, you know, I see where you're trying to come from, but I'm not an edgy person, so I would never do that. But I would say that where all of the first stages all have oh, so ghillie suits, first of all, this one's like $150. Light all-purpose ghillie suit. What purpose is all-purpose? So I'll make it kind of look like a hood. Which also looks like a canopy or the top of a tree, which is nice. But yeah, essentially, you have a situation where that wood is like a special wood, like blessing. It's like, you know, spiritual power hiding its true form. So it's not so much that like it's physical, like, so you're, I think, and understandably, I'm not blaming you guys. A lot of people come into these streams, especially when you're newer to Xotempo and whatnot, and you know, we're like, oh, we know what Pokemon is, and Pokemon, you know, designs look a certain way or behave a certain way, or, you know, that's just the nature of how it is. But this is Xotempo. So it's not like these are creatures that live in an environment and blend in and evolve to be this way, right? Pokemon is all about evolution. With Xotempo, this is like you as the, not just trainer, but the friends of these creatures are helping them unlock their potential, right? That's the Po part of Xotempo, potential. So it's a matter of they have this power inside of them. So it's not like the wood in any particular design is like the flesh and it's, you know, in this case, right, if it's like body is wooden, that's just a representation of like the physical manifestation of what this creature is based on, right? So hopefully that makes sense. Get it? I'll do these kind of markings on this guy for the birch. If the red cap shiny equivalent blue, I'm naming him Smurf. It probably got to be blue, right? Along with gold digging ants, there's also King Midas who got turned into a donkey and the golden fleece from Jason and the Argonauts. Oh, I guess it would make sense to do gold, right, as part of the mimic, because it's, I mean, I'm personally going towards the treasure chest version. So this is what I'll do. I think I know what I can do. I don't think it's got to be anything more crazier than this. The first mimic, it's mimicking, just like Voltorb isn't mimicking a chest, it's mimicking what? A Pokeball. So in the world of Xotempo, if they're kind of mostly going to be represented by balls of fire, it might need to look like a ball of fire, like a will-o-wisp, right? I gotta figure it out exactly. But I think at the very least, I think I'm gonna make it look like, you know, a wooden face mask. It's like a faux looking face mask. And then when it evolves, it could be like a D&D chest version. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? So that way I get to do like the D&D version and then like the Monster Tamer version. Because like in a lot of RPGs, the Mimic is very much a tried and true staple. You know? The ghillie do, and it's wearing a ghillie suit. Perfect. I think I would make the eyes a little smaller. And I think the tree knot is also a little too... Also, apparently griffins are associated with gold deposits. Griffins are considered the king of all creatures. I was looking on it today. Because I was like trying to think, could I really fit the griffin in my thing? And I'm like, if it's the beast of, like, I mean, you know, I can choose to set up like the mythology how I want, but I feel like I'd rather make it a 3-stage in another region. I'm already jam-packed with powerful entities here, right? King Kong, Godzilla, Cthulhu, a dragon, potentially a phoenix, a sphinx. Like, I don't want to throw every awesome idea out right away, right? Like, you need to save some heavy hitters. So in the lore, would Xotempo be new to our world like they just started appearing recently? Great question. So I've discussed it a little bit before, but the idea is they've been around for a long time. If anything, we might be the reason why they left. And so it'll definitely be a story where, almost like Digimon, where, yeah, only a few people can interact with Xotempo. It's not like a Pokemon thing where it's like an everyday occurrence with the world. So it'll be really fun to have like that feeling like, oh, I'm a chosen person. I've got to like help what's going on with the Xotempo. Why are they showing up more often than not? Whereas before, they really were like cryptids in a way, you know? This is a very simple design, but I think it's still got a lot of spirit, you know, and heart. Part of me does want to do I guess maybe like limbs, but I don't think it's necessary. Oh, you know what? I could probably give it maybe like 2 earrings kind of in a way, where just to like give it more color. But it's the fruit, but it's not ripe yet. And then in the next form, as you can see with the yellow, it's like now ripe. There gonna be any sports related Xotempo? Well, Sriram, I don't think so. I say don't think so as if I'm not sure, but no, there isn't. Because I have confirmed the 111. I love sports. I love playing sports. I love watching sports. But it doesn't really fit the world that I've crafted. Right? Like, it's all about mythology. And now, I will say, there are plenty of sports players who, easily, create their own lore, right? Like, Michael Jordan and LeBron James are way bigger than life. So, never say never in the future, but like, I don't see myself going that route. So, is it the same genre being Monster Tamer? Yes. I'm not sure what else it would be with as many creatures and stuff that I have, right? Like, it would be an RPG one way or another. Yo, you guys like this design? I'm very much a fan already. If you'd add minigames to Xotempo, what would it be? Minigames? I don't know. I mean, I guess there have been some in Pokemon, right? I probably want to do something fun for when you capture Xotempo. Like, there is a thrill to Pokemon, right? You throw your Pokeball and then you wait for it to ding, 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 and then you catch it. Train line looked awesome. Yeah, I think so too. Thanks, man. This guy, you know what? He does need a little work. It's 9 o'clock now. I could call it here because I've done about 2.5 hours. Do we save this guy for another? You know what? Yeah, let's do it like something like 3 a day. Because I did these 2 today, which I'm very happy. These guys, what's really cool is they all fit the same family of stuff, right? Like, herpetology to some degree, right? Toads, tortoise, and lizard. Like, they've got that vibe. Funny enough, the Charizard inspired one is like the smallest one. As far as like thickness and whatnot. Like, these guys are pretty big, but pretty cool. Alt Evil being like Haunted Tree Monster, like Trevenant, hell yeah. Now, would you send out the Xotempo? Would they sit beside you until you call them out? Is there something similar to Pokeballs, like a rune? Oh, I have definitely gone over this, so I can't always answer every question over and over. And also, it is, not your fault if you haven't been here. But it's also the main reason I say it is not everything is confirmed. There's stuff that I'm still trying to, figure out. It's definitely a spirit thing. Like, you're very much connected to your Xotempo. You're keeping them in my current rendition. It's kind of like Polaroids or almost like cards in a way, Zotographs, and you're capturing these spirits almost like a spirit photographer with this magnifying glass / staff type of thing. It's pretty cool. So after the tree line, what is next? Honestly, hope it's the dragon or the Naga line. It will, like I was saying, I will be doing all the 2 stages first. So I kind of want to do, I do have Popo, Bawa, and Beholder. I'm curious about adding them in here so I have like a decent number of like, these would be like the Dungeons and Dragons section, right, of mythology. So it'd be cool to do that. I'm not super sold on my Mimic concept yet. Again, this is just a placeholder. But I kind of want to work on the Slide Rock Bolter tomorrow. It's basically this massive, I think it's like a catfish / whale land whale. And I think it would just look really cool. Now, I may knock him out just to get something cute because, again, I am missing a lot of cute creatures. And it is very similar of a concept to this. So, I'm not sure. Eventually, I have to do the pixies and you know, fairies, which I think will be a really fun one. Yeah, I'm really not sure. Let's do Hydra Naga. It's not going to do Hydra Naga. It will be a regular Naga. Because I'm basing it off of Southeast Asian culture. Hydra Naga, excuse me. Although, I guess that would make sense, but it would look kind of weird because she would have a humanoid body with like 3 heads. It would look kind of silly, or 5 heads. Actually, oh yeah, you know, I do have a way I would incorporate that. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not sure if I'm going to do it. It could be cool to do, but it is very, very similar to this guy who's digging and you know, with the world being the catfish. I'm not gonna make it the Prevo. I'd want it to be the evolved. I know we already have a yokai with catfish that evolve with or that deal with what do you call earthquakes and stuff, and we have it in Pokemon. So that's part of the reason why I'd rather just do my take on Slide Rock Bolter and not do that yokai. I forget what it's called. But it'll be, I'll keep it a surprise for now. It'll definitely be a 2-stage. It could be this, the basket hyenas into the were hyena or the crocota. That could be a cool one. Yet another cool Xotempo. So, like I said, I gotta really cool it because all these creatures are like skewing into like badass territory. There's no balance in design. You know what? Tomorrow I might do the Manangana, which will be a bat and a cute one. Like 3 Gorgon sisters instead, they're 3-headed. Nah. You'll see what I'm gonna do with the Naga. It's gonna be very cool. It'll have like Medusa-like kind of vibes, which will be really cool. That's what I'll do. I'll do the bat tomorrow. It'll be a cute bat. I think the Slide Rock Bolt was made to explain columnar basalt. I don't know what any of that means. But yes, stay tuned for that. I think I'm going to call it for tonight. We got 3 designs done. So if I could keep doing like 3 designs or like backfilling, you know, I may or may not be able to stream. Well, I definitely won't stream on Thursday. I think my Friday night has been canceled. So since I won't be able to do Thursday, I will be driving to Tampa for an eye appointment, a very important one because of my disability. So if I'm not too tired after that, because I'll be out late Thursday night, 9 in the morning trip that I got to drive like an hour and change, maybe 2 hours for, and then drive back immediately, essentially. So if I'm not too tired, I'll stream again on Friday. But I'll see you tomorrow with the bat. That one's going to be a fun one because, like I said, look at this chat. Like, I'd say this guy's cute. But, like, this guy's, like, barely cute. My monsters are cool. Like, I'm just good at making cool shit. But I also want to make cute things for my cute fans, you know? Look. Cool. I can make these ghosts very cute. You know what? Maybe I'll do the ghosts on Thursday or Friday. Or not Thursday, but potentially Friday. Because the concepts are really cool. Pisasha and Preta. Cool as hell. This will be cute. Maybe I do have to find a cute one instead of Slide Rock. Or I can make the Slide Rock Bolter cute. That way, it's a different version of this guy. And they could be like parallels. You know? Base evolution of a whale? What do you mean for side rock? How about base evolution of? Oh, I see what you're saying. I want it to be probably some other cryptid that's like either digging or water-like or landlocked. See you later for alligator. Well said, guys. I'm gonna call it. I guess I'll go to the Charizard inspired Xotempo, right? Lizards on fire, aka salamanders, which was the main thought. But yeah, hope you guys like the designs. I certainly did. Of course, you guys have been great. Make sure you leave a like after this goes live. Feel free to comment if you want for any feedback. Otherwise, yeah, I think I'll call and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Another 3 designs down, 111 total. It's been confirmed as of today.